What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. Now, today's content was kind of chosen by Twitter, so make sure to follow my Twitter at TrustTheBank. You know, it's to my, I think it's this way, yeah, to my right. And basically, on there, I put out a poll, and I do this every once in a while, probably about 3 times a week, where I tweet out a couple of different video ideas that I have, and it's going to ramp up more as we get closer to the draft because people want to see different things. Whether it's doing a player evaluation if they fit on the Ravens, like a Terrence Marshall Jr., or looking at first round sleeper players that the Ravens could draft, or mid round players. But this one, which was decided by vote, was the late round sleeper wide receivers. Now, what this is wide receivers that could potentially fall to day 3 in the draft, that the Ravens could definitely go after and would be a good fit for the Ravens. So if you're watching this and you're not a Ravens fan, you just want to see sleeper wide receivers, these are going to be sleeper wide receivers that would fit well on the Ravens. There's obviously more wide receivers that could potentially be very good, but I just don't feel like they fit on the Ravens nearly as well due to either lack of size or the Ravens already have something that they bring to the table. So this is for the Ravens, and as always, subscribe for daily Ravens content. Comment all of your thoughts and opinions on these players. If you think there's any other sleeper wide receivers that I didn't bring up in this video, please let me know so I can look into them. I don't know everything about every wide receiver in this draft class, or I don't yet. I'm working on it, trying to learn as many names as possible so I can tell all of you, how good they are. But let's get right into it. There is a guy that I think is an absolute sleeper wide receiver. I'm not going to get into him very much. Simi Fehoko. If you watched my videos before, I love Simi Fehoko. My number 1 wide receiver for the Ravens that target this draft. Like, I absolutely want him on the Ravens. But I'm not going to talk about him because I probably talk about him in like every video. So starting off with the first wide receiver, I've got Jonathan Adams Jr. I had him go into the Ravens in my mock draft. I talked about him a little bit then, but he's 6'3", 220 pounds. Last season, he had 79 receptions for 1,111 yards and 12 touchdowns. Now, he went to Arkansas State, so a bit of a smaller school, but he is a bully. He is a bully at the wide receiver position. He is going to out-physical the cornerback, and like I said, he doesn't play in like a major conference, so potentially that stuff may not be able to work at the pro level, but if he has that drive, that confidence, that swagger at the wide receiver position, he's going to be able to try and work hard and be able to get to the level of being able to bully the NFL quality cornerbacks and being able to practice against a guy like, Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, those guys. Like, that'll be a big help. What he's good at, catching the football, contested catches, back shoulder throws, high pointing the ball. Like, that is his specialty. He is a developmental, number 1 wide receiver that the Ravens will be able to use. But like I said, he's developmental. He's not somebody that I would expect the Ravens to draft and then day 1 put him out on the field. These late round picks, all of them, none of them are going to be guys that are able to come in and just become a starting wide receiver in week 1. They could be very good and they could, earn a role towards later in the season. Absolutely. But I just want to get people's because I think a lot of people last year were like, James Prochet, why isn't he playing? He's a great jump ball wide receiver. James Prochet, I'm not giving up on him. I'm not giving up on James Prochet, but these late round wide receivers, they're not going to, play right away. They're developmental players. But his Pro Football Focus comparison was Stevie Johnson. Now, Stevie Johnson, if you don't know Stevie Johnson, very, very solid wide receiver for mostly the Buffalo Bills. He came into the league and really didn't play his first 2 years. Very few snaps. I think he may have had 1 start in those games. 3rd year in the league, comes in 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown seasons. Follows that up with another 2 1,000-yard seasons and has a combined 13 touchdowns in those seasons. So if you look at that and you're like, okay, well, if his comparison was a guy that got a 1,000-yard season in his 3rd year, and this is comparison coming out of college, absolutely you would take that. I mean, yes, that's his ceiling, but 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in a run-heavy offense would be absolutely necessary. Would he be able to get there in 3 years? I don't know. I mean, depends on work ethic, the NFL level, but he definitely has the potential. He's got the size, and he could be a very, very good fit on this Ravens team. And we love how the Ravens like to be physical. So he'd be able to go out there, he'd be physical, play the Ravens way, and get better. So I think Jonathan Adams Jr. is the first kind of sleeper wide receiver for Ravens fans to really look forward to in the draft. The next guy that I have is Marion Terry. I've talked about him. I think once. I don't know if I've had him going in my mock drafts at all. Maybe I did. I don't remember exactly. But 6'4", 203 pounds out of Florida State. Now, this guy, obviously great size. He's a deep ball threat. He ran a 4.45 40, which is pretty solid at his size. Doesn't have the greatest hands in the world, but he's known for his playmaking. After the catch, that's what he brings to the table. He's going to go deep. He's going to catch the ball, and he's going to score. He has the Florida State record with 5 career 70-yard receiving touchdowns. He had 9 50-yard receiving touchdowns in his career at Florida State. And you look at what the Ravens need. They need a big-bodied wide receiver that can go down the field. They've got Hollywood Brown. They've got Devin Duvernay. They've got Sammy Watkins. All those guys can take those intermediate routes, those short routes, and everything like that. And I'm not saying they can't go deep. They all have the ability to go deep, but that's not any of their specialty. I think the Ravens absolutely need a deep ball wide receiver that can make jump ball receptions as kind of their specialty. And they definitely need that in their offense so Greg Roman can open up the playbook. When the Ravens call that play action type play, they have somebody that is a legitimate threat to burn the back end of the defense. You look at what the Packers do. Who is their guy that goes deep? Marquez Valdez-Scantling, okay? Does he have drops? Yeah, but he still has a ton of big-time touchdowns. So that's something that, you could look for in Marion Terry to come in and do. Would he do it in his rookie year? No, he's developmental. Like I said, developmental wide receivers are not guys that are going to come in and day one just be like wide receiver 1. This isn't a first-round pick. These are sleeper wide receivers that could turn out to be great. So it all comes down to T. Martin and Keith Willens and how they're able to coach up these guys in this Ravens offense over the next couple of years. But as Lamar gets that new contract, he's going to need young weapons that are on cheap deals that can make big impact in the next couple of years. And these players are those types of guys. So I think Marion Terry could definitely be a great fit in Baltimore. The final guy is a guy I know for a fact I have not talked about on this channel, and that's Trayvon Grimes. If you don't know who Trayvon Grimes is, 6'4", 217 pounds out of Florida. Another big physical wide receiver. Do you notice a trend with all of these sleeper wide receivers? They're all 6'3" or 6'4", and they're all guys that can go up and make the big catches. Benefit for Trayvon Grimes is that he did play in the SEC. He played at Florida. And another benefit, I think some people may look at it as kind of a negative, but I think a major benefit is that he wasn't the number 1 option. There was Kyle Pitts. There was Tony in Florida. So he's the number 3 option really in Florida. So if he goes to a team like the Ravens and he's out there on the field, he's not somebody that's coming in, oh yeah, I'm the man. No, he's going to come in and he's like, yeah, I understand my role. And I'm going to be able to be that 3rd option, that 4th option on the field that he could be. So that's kind of a benefit because the Ravens, obviously, they don't throw the ball a ton. But when you bring in a guy that wasn't the wide receiver 1, it does help with that kind of thing. So he did run a 40 at the pro day. I couldn't find the exact number on that. What I did read was that he has an unofficial time clocked between 4.35 and 4.42. So a borderline 4.3 guy at 6'4", 217 pounds. That is amazing. And so that's, a huge benefit to the Ravens. Obviously, big speed, big strength, big physicality, but he also, he's got the ability to make those big catches. He actually caught a fair amount of screen passes at Florida. So that's another aspect that he could potentially bring to the Ravens. But, you look at, him playing against that tougher competition in the SEC. He had a terrific touchdown grab against Georgia. And he also, he mossed Patrick Surtain. So, maybe the best cornerback in the country last year, and he got mossed by Treyvon Grimes. Maybe that's something that you want to look forward to. So, obviously I think that the Ravens should go wide receiver at least once on day 3. They could potentially draft a wide receiver day 2. I'm not a believer in them drafting a receiver day 1. I think that they should focus on edge rusher in that position. And if they trade Orlando Brown and get another pick, I think they should probably go offensive line with that pick. Or I made a bold prediction on Twitter the other day that they'd trade and they'd select a cornerback, which I don't love, but I think it might happen. But overall, those are kind of my late round sleepers for the Ravens to draft. Let me know what your thoughts are on Treyvon Grimes, on Marion Terry, on Jonathan Adams Jr. Another guy that a lot of people in the comment section talk about a lot, TJ Vasher. I didn't put him on this list, and that was intentional. I may end up making a video about it. I may make a video on receivers not to draft. So I will definitely talk about TJ Vasher soon, because I was on the TJ Vasher train, with a lot of you guys. But then I kind of looked into it and I'm like, never mind, I don't want him. But that's going to do it for this video. I do want to say I've got, kind of a pretty big announcement coming pretty soon. So I'm going to, I'll let you guys know about that once that is all settled. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. Also, this was the first no hat video, which, is pretty surprising. I'm doing these videos for like a month now. But thanks, everybody, for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoy, comment your thoughts, comment your opinions. And I'll see all of you again tomorrow.